Fighting Illini versus the Missouri Tigers in what is called the bragging rights game. A first matchup this season, as Missouri did not play in the fall due to COVID concerns. Should be a good matchup here, as Willie Benmorenchuk of the Illini is teammates with both number 31 and 13 of Missouri and Canada, Lee and Colin Higgins. The starting lineup for the Fighting Illini is number 1, John McNamara, number 4, Sean Sloan, number 35, Ben Willie Morenchuk, number 13, Thomas Duffy, and number 23, Noah Hotchkiss. For the Tigers, the starting lineup is number 5, Amon Abshin, number 13, Higgins, number 31, Melmuck, number 41, Reed, and number 42, Rodriguez, as Missouri wins the tip. Tigers pass it over to Higgins. Higgins is going to pass over to Eric. Shot is up and in from number 42, Rodriguez. Noah Hotchkiss finds Morenchuk inside, and Morenchuk puts it up and in over his Team Canada teammate Colin Higgins. Tied too early here at the arc. Higgins gets the ball in midcourt. Sean Sloan out to meet him. Hotchkiss goes around. Illini selling out hard on Higgins over to Melmuck. Melmuck inside, wasn't tipped. It's going to be out of bounds. Illini basketball, no tip. Missouri played a game earlier here at the Arc this morning against Wisconsin Whitewater, and after taking an early lead, lost that one by 20. Hotchkiss working with McNamara. Hotchkiss over to Duffy. Duffy shot up and good. The free throw the baseline jumper from Thomas Duffy is his favorite shot. The senior from North Utica, Illinois. Missouri has the ball. Pass over to Rodriguez on the right side, working with Mack. Back to Higgins in the middle, met by Sloan. Over to Malmuck. Malmuck puts it in. It's tied up again with 1 minute and 50 seconds gone in the first half. Unlike if you tuned in earlier in the game, the Illinois women play half as Noah Hotchkiss hits the three-pointer for the Illini. Hot offensive start. As we talked about earlier, if you joined us earlier for the women's game, they play quarters, the men play 2 20-minute half. So that is a difference between the two. As Higgins finds Lee, it is not rebounded. Morenchuk saves it, but it goes out of bounds. It's going to be Tigers basketball under the baseline. And a new shot clock as they deemed the Illini had possession. Higgins passes it across, puts it up, and there's going to be a foul and one. That's going to be number 23, Noah Hotchkiss, his first, team first. To the free throw line is Imam Hobstrom.
What do you think? Can I join you?
Yeah, you can join me. Absolutely. I'm going to be joined here by Jason Hotchkiss, tech extraordinaire.
What? No.
Thomas thinks about shooting, gets a pick. Trying to get it to McNamara to pass.
Take it again. Oh, no.
That one's a little long.
Yeah.
Noah had a good first shot earlier in the game.
Looking good, but you know that old guy, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
He applied pressure right at the right moment.
Higgins with the driving layup. It's 8-7 now.
Oh, that's it.
Good decision there by McNamara as Hotchkiss can't get that one to fall either. Good decision though by McNamara.
Yeah, absolutely. Close game, right as we knew it would be.
Yeah. Higgins being guarded by his Team Canada teammate Willie Morinchuk. Passes over to Rodriguez, who had a big game earlier against Wisconsin. Higgins gets the ball, is going to put the shot up over Thomas Duffy, and it rims out.
It was a good look. He likes that shot. He knocks that thing down all the time.
Defended by Morinchuk, who brings it up with some speed. Working the other side. Turnover for the Illini, stolen by Rodriguez. Higgins is going to post up, put it up, and puts it in.
Yep, he's really effective from that spot, fading away. Hard shot to defend.
Missouri takes a 3-point lead, 15:39 to go in the first half. Motion to drive out to Hotchkiss, looking for a pick from McNamara. Back to Morinchuk. Over to Duffy. Duffy shots up
and there we go. There's our man right there. That's what we want to see all game.
4 early points from that spot. He loves that baseline jumper.
And if he's hitting it, you know, they're just going to have to waste some energy defending it.
Yeah. Higgins goes in the middle, finds Merrimack up and in.
I got to watch these guys play last week, and pretty much, what's his name, 31?
Lee Merrimack.
Lee Merrimack. If he takes a shot, it's just pretty much going in.
Yeah.
He's very, very calm and effective and deadly shooter.
Morinchuk finds McNamara, who hits it underneath the backboard. Yeah, 3 Team Canada players here as Lee, Colin Higgins, and Willie Morinchuk of the Illini are all Team Canada members. As Higgins scores again, and a full timeout is called by Coach Matt Bushy. We'll be right back after this break.
The pick and roll is one of the main ways that you'll see scoring happen in wheelchair basketball. There's a couple different things to think about when we're looking at the pick and roll. One, a lot of times we'll use the pick and roll, and you'll see teams get a wide open layup off of it because you've picked, a defender is out, and there's a free lane to the basket where you can roll. Sometimes what you'll also see off of a pick and roll is we've created a mismatch. So you'll have someone offensively who's a bit taller or a bit faster get a little bit closer to the basket in a mismatch situation that they can take advantage of. And I think one of the other things that you'll see off of a pick and roll is that it will cause some kind of defensive rotation so that you're moving defenders around in order to get one of your other teammates on the other side of the court open. So when you look at a pick and roll, a lot of times it's not just what you generate on one side of the court, but it's what it's opening up on the other side of the court.
And we're back here at the Illini trail 14-9 here early in the going. 5.5 minutes gone. The Illini inbounding. No lineup change for either team. Depth of problem for Missouri earlier as Hotchkiss takes another 3 bounces off of 41 of Missouri and rebounded by Rodriguez. Illini heavy pressure on Higgins. In. Proto. Tough layup there underneath the basket, rebounded by the Illini. Morinchuk underneath, layup up and in. Morinchuk just beat his man off the edge and they found him for a layup. Illini now trailed by 3. Higgins goes for 3 and drills it. A 3-pointer from the Canadian. It's 17-11.
they're only going to let him take that for so long, and if he gets hot, they're gonna calm down.
Good pick and roll there. Pass to Duffy. Duffy's going to take the shot with confidence, and it's in. 6 points for Thomas Duffy. If Thomas is hot from that spot, it's going to be a good day for the Illini.
It really changes the dynamics of what they're able to do on defense, and they're just not able to send to help with as much confidence if he's going to knock those down.
Mick with the ball over to Higgins. Guarded by Duffy, misses, rebounded by McNamara, and quickly out to Morinchuk.
Oh, this is going to go right down the middle. Whoa! And that's the kind of energy that the Illini need right now.
What a play for Morinchuk. He's a change of speed guy that the Illini need to be a leader. And they can take lead to 1 with this free throw right here.
One big push and he's gone.
That was on Melinick, his first, team's first.
And he's one guy you'd like to see in foul trouble somewhere along in the first half.
Well, depth has been a problem for Missouri all week and missing some of their players for various reasons.
Yep.
Only have 1 player on the bench.
Yes.
So any foul trouble is a problem for Missouri.
We got to talk with Ron a little bit before the game, and then it's just like everybody, they're struggling, but this weekend they were hit pretty hard without Zach Stager, who was in their kind of primary lineup.
Yeah, one of their starters missing. The Illini missing senior Douglas Lyons as well.
Yep.
Morinchuk into McNamara, decides not to shoot it back to McNamara. Morinchuk inside.
Nice look.
Good patience there, paying off as the Illini take their first lead since the early minute of the game.
And another guy that, one push, he's gone. He's going to beat you. You can't leave J-Mac alone for a second.
A really, really great defender as well. As they're going to leave Melinick underneath the basket. He's going to miss it, rebounded by Morinchuk of the Illini.
Like to see the Illini just willing themselves back into the game here.
Good pick and roll there. Good pick and roll. It's going to be a full timeout taken by Ron Life. The Missouri Tigers will be right back after this.
Surrounding yourself with guys who are going through the same struggle as you kind of feel that camaraderie and family that you had in the military.
I knew I liked basketball, so it made sense to try wheelchair basketball, but I had no idea that I could be really good at this.
It's a bond that sometimes you spend your whole life trying to find again.
I go to war with them, and I do when we go to war on the court every time. USA!
2 points.
And we're back here at the Arc. The Illini hold a 20-17 lead. Missouri's going to have the ball at midcourt.
What do you think Likens was telling the boys right there?
I mean, Morinchuk kind of beat up on them in the last couple minutes. I think, their emphasis is stopping Morinchuk, and they just needed to re-emphasize that with the timeout.
Right.
Kind of stop the run. As Rodriguez has the ball tipped away by Hotchkiss. Good hands there from Noah. It will remain Missouri basketball, 18 on the shot clock. Inbounded to Higgins, going to be pressed high, and Morinchuk keeps reaching in there as there's a player down. Official timeout. I kind of like the officials are kind of letting him play right now.
Yeah, I agree.
The only foul they called was the very obvious one on the other end.
I think these guys are from Chicago, they're brawlers.
Yeah.
They're a little rougher.
I appreciate a referee who lets them play.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but it's definitely staying within the rules and within the bounds.
Lee's going to be open after the pick and roll. Overthrows his target, and it's going to be out of bounds. Unforced turnover back to the Illini.
I think that's an important point you're making, though, Josh, just about the importance of good refereeing in the sport. You know, it just changes everything. It helps every players become better.
Yeah, and these referees are some of the best in the region and in the country. So. Hotchkiss is working with McNamara. McNamara tries to get the ball tipped away by Rodriguez. Finds Thomas going to take the confidence. These are a little bit short. Good pressure there that time from the Tigers.
A little farther out and a little closer to the baseline on that shot.
Pass over to Melly.
There we go.
Stolen by
Great
McNamara.
defense.
Yeah. Coach Bushy urging patience from his team. They're going to set it up instead of trying to push at the pace here. Pick from Morinchuk.
A lot of pressure.
Morinchuk over to Hotchkiss. Hotchkiss going to put it up, blocked by Melinick.
And that's the second time that guy's got some big arms and has gotten in there.
Some confusion there. There's a game going on behind us, but it's going to be out of bounds. Missouri basketball. You don't see a Class 1 blocking a shot very often.
No. He's a long Class 1.
Higgins brings it up the middle, working right side, and there's going to be a foul on Morinchuk. It's going to be a block, his first, team's first as well. Morinchuk not afraid to be aggressive. Tipped away, and they called.
Noah wanted some revenge on that one.
The foul was on 42 Rodriguez, his first, team second.
Again, the refs, kind of laying back a little bit allows for a little bit more of this kind of aggressive defensive play.
Yeah, I didn't really see what the foul was there. And the Illini will take it. That's Hutchins going to get an open look, and he's going to drill it.
Always loves that bank shot, and they haven't been leaving them open to take it.
Yeah.
You got to make it pay when they do.
Left wide open in a shot that he loves. Illini out on Higgins. It's short.
There we go.
Stolen by Morinchuk out. Sorry,
Nice.
stolen by McNamara out to Morinchuk, who's going to scoop and score. And another timeout called by Missouri. We'll take a quick break and be right back here at the arc.
The pick and roll is one of the main ways that you'll see scoring happen in wheelchair basketball. There's a couple different things to think about when we're looking at the pick and roll. One, a lot of times we'll use the pick and roll, and you'll see teams get a wide open layup off of it because you've picked, a defender is out, and there's a free lane to the basket where you can roll. Sometimes what you'll also see off of a pick and roll is we've created a mismatch. So you'll have someone offensively who's a bit taller or a bit faster get a little bit closer to the basket in a mismatch situation that they can take advantage of. And I think one of the other things that you'll see off of a pick and roll is that it will cause some kind of defensive rotation so that you're moving defenders around in order to get one of your other teammates on the other side of the court open. So when you look at a pick and roll, a lot of times it's not just what you generate on one side of the court, but it's what it's opening up on the other side of the court.
And we're back here at the arc. And one of the things that's near and dear to Jason Hotchkiss is something I want to talk about here. We have a great adaptive.
Yeah.
Noah Hotchkiss is of Native American descent and started an organization with his dad, Jason, who's with me right now. So Jason, tell me a little bit about the organization.
It's a pretty simple mission statement, and 15-year-old Noah came up with it. We use sports as a tool to improve health, wellness, and independence for Native Americans with disabilities, and nobody else is doing it. So it's great. And now we've got 2 of the 3 Native Americans in the NWBA, both at University of Illinois.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Who's the other one?
Alicia Guerrero.
Yeah, one of the freshmen, as Missouri's going to get a layup here, but a great organization that I want to bring attention to, doing some great work in an underserved community.
Hey, we appreciate that so much, Josh. Let's see what these guys are going to put together over the timeout. They're going to let them take it.
Yep. Oh, looking a little short. Rebounded by Hotchkiss. Thomas Duffy brings up in the middle. He's going to put up a 3 off balance and going to get his own rebound again.
Clock reset.
Reset 20 in the college game. Instead of the full 30. Looking for a pick. Going to get it. Passing to Warrenchuk up and can't get it to fall. Mac gets the rebound. Mac Reed filling in for Zach Steger. Pass over to Rodriguez, guarded by Thomas, and Thomas is going to get held for that hold there. It's going to be his first, team's third. Missouri to inbound underneath the basket. Out to Higgins. Going to be met by Warrenchuk. Switch there. Risky pass. It's stolen by Hotchkiss. It's a 3-1. As it's away and stolen.
Great defense there by Rodriguez, and just being patient.
And Warrenchuk is going to pick up his second foul. And that's going to force him to change the lineup here.
And those are the kind of baskets that you don't want to leave on the floor.
Yeah. Sean Sloan and Warrenchuk are out. In the game are Miles Hill and Camden Braber. Camden Braber, the only Illinois player on the U23 national team. Heading to Mexico here for regional zonal qualifiers here in a couple weeks.
Okay. That's going to be really interesting to see. I can't wait to watch that.
3 from Higgins, a little short. Rodriguez gets the rebound though for the Tigers. All the way across to Higgins. He puts up a shot, leaves it off, and rebounded by the Illini.
And a rare miss there from Merriman. That's a good sign. Great sealing right there by J-Mac, creating the mismatch.
And they're going to call the foul here on number 5, I think. Yep, 5. That is Coda
Sage.
Yep, Coda Sage. It's going to be his, I believe, first time. We will check that at halftime. Now 7 minutes to go here. Right held at 24. Now 26-19 lead.
Nothing but net there for Gabe Dembraber.
Coming off the bench and making an immediate impact on offense.
It's such an important thing to be able to do in this game is to use that time on the bench to evaluate what's going on and come on and be an impact player.
Good passing there from the Tigers. These are good looks, but they will not convert. Illinois rebounds. Good back pick there from McNamara. Over to Duffy. Duffy's going to take the shot again, and this one is all rebounded by Higgins of the Tigers. Oh, there's going to be a hold on Thomas Duffy, I believe. That's going to be his second. Yeah, that's going to be Thomas Duffy's second foul. The only hometown, one of 2, 3. Illinois.
4. Martrell, Sean.
Oh, Martrell and Sean, yeah.
Yep.
Sean Sloan started the game as a sophomore, but didn't really play last year because Illinois didn't play due to COVID.
Yep, that's right.
His first action, and has improved a lot as a player.
His speed is just really gone off the charts, and that's I think you can't emphasize speed enough in this game.
And then I'm hearing a lot of good things about Martrell Stevens, the freshman. Not getting a lot of playing minutes, but a low-class player that has a bright future in his career in Illinois.
Great shooter, and just working on his endurance a lot.
Oh, unfortunate break there. Then Braber got a hand on the ball, but Rodriguez recovered, and he's going to steal it again. Illinois.
Silly turnovers there for the Illini, and again, these are you can't let up on these guys for a second.
Go to Sage. It's a 3-second call. Illinois avoids catastrophe.
And they got blocked out by their own player in that situation. I'm not sure what the rule is on that. I know if you're trying to get out of the paint, but if it's your own guy in front of you, I think.
Hotchkiss looks to find McNamara, not going to get him there.
Swinging it,
yep. Over to Thomas Duffy's going to take it again, and that one's in. Thomas Duffy.
A nice soft touch on that shot, and it just floated on the rim for a second.
Thomas Duffy has at least 8 points, if not 10, already in this game, with 5 minutes and some change left in the first half. Hotchkiss out. McNamara, strong defense is what he's known for. Over Dakota Sage, puts it up, leaves it short, rebounded by Duffy. 28-21, Illini lead here in the first half. Thomas Duffy looks to take a three, decides not to. Over to Hotchkiss, who takes it, and
that's what you want to see. Yeah. You know, he used to hate practicing that shot. Like every kid, he wants that swish. But and actually was watching
offensive foul. 42 Rodriguez, that's going to be his second.
I remember spending a year watching CJ from UTA while you guys were all still in juniors, and he would just kill that bank shot. Yep. And I told him, well, you need to learn that thing. Highest percentage in terms of area of the ball, area of the basket.
I still have nightmares of my juniors coach telling me backboard. McNamara finds it, passes it out to Jim Braber. 45, elbow jumper, not going to fall, rebounded by Rodriguez. Rodriguez works in the left side with Hoda. And it's a travel call on Rodriguez.
You don't see a lot of traveling calls, and it's really hard for refs to be paying attention to both the.
Coaching at a tournament a couple weekends ago, ref missed a travel call and owned up to it in a game I was coaching. So it's a tough call in wheelchair basketball.
Yeah, it is. But you got to call it, or else the thing will get away from you.
Another swat by big Rodriguez. Trying to get that pick and roll going on McNamara and Hotchkiss' side.
Really got to be thinking about doing the hook pass in that situation to avoid that, especially with that kind of size mismatch.
Big jump Thomas hard. 10 to go on the shot clock. Ball's loose. Going to be a turtle on the Illini.
Oh, but here comes J-Mac. Pressuring.
Good control.
Great follow through by Dakota Sage. And a lot of pressure.
Yeah, there's good control there as well. Duffy's thought about putting up the three. Pass in the middle.
Take that.
Yep. He's a little bit short. Hill was open if he wanted to drive as well there, but wasn't really looking for that. Illini maintained a 7-point lead in the waning minutes here of the first half. Rodriguez underneath, misses it, rebounded by McNamara of the Illini.
Little too far back over his shoulder.
Yeah. And then
Jay's in there.
Good pick there from Hill. Pass over to Thomas Duffy. Duffy looking to pass. Pass across. 12 on the shot clock. 10 now. Gets the pick. Yep, there's that kick.
And Miles Hill just performing his magic in the paint there.
pound for pound the most tenacious player on.
Absolutely. You just think he's too far under the basket to make this, and in it goes.
I mean, and he's never going to back down from a battle offensively or defensively. Higgins takes a three, misses it, but rebounded. I thought for a second by Missouri, but out of bounds to the Illini.
9-point game, just under 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah. Good first half here so far from the Illini.
Absolutely. Important games in terms of squaring up for the national championship. Got the mismatch.
That was a good job of getting it higher up this time so it wasn't swatted away.
Absolutely. But
as a missed layup on one end ends to a layup on the other end.
I think there was some ball watching going on there in the transition, and Colin Higgins took advantage of it.
Thomas Duffy working this left side now with McNamara. Throws it away. It's a steal. Oh, good steal there from Hodgkins.
After getting swatted, he's taking swatting lessons and he's giving some right back.
Good patience here from the Illini.
Oh, good look, and that's in.
Once again, from that middle spot.
Yeah.
Defensive lead you a lot for help, and if you can cut on that like Hill's doing the last couple possessions, it's deadly.
And he's a good shooter from that middle spot as well. I think that swing position is a real good fit for Miles Hill.
Charge on Rodriguez. I believe that's his first foul. Third foul. It's going to cause a sub on Missouri.
It'd be a real good thing to take this game into double digits going into the half here. There's a psychological difference that happens between 9 and 10.
Rodriguez being at his huge 41 seconds to go. And that's an unfortunate place to pick up your third foul with such little time left in the first half.
Right. And a short bench.
Very short bench. Looking for a pass, finds it, and Thomas passes it in. What
great ball movement there, and no, it was close call for 3 seconds in there, but they got away with it.
It was a good, quick find. Quick decision making, really important at this level.
And Merriman, another guy, he's just not going to miss.
And that's the end of the first half. Illinois will take a 9-point lead. We will take a quick break. We will be back. Welcome back to Rolling Illini on WPG 107.1. I am once again Joshua joined as always by Avery Schaefer and Miles Hill. The College Division Nationals for wheelchair basketball are coming to Champaign. It begins Thursday at 8 a.m. and ends Saturday at noon with the national champion being crowned in both the men's and the women's division. So a lot of action coming up. The level of basketball and the level of athleticism is something that I don't think people will have experienced or seen before. Yeah. And there's like a lot of sports that people talk about that are like less popular. You don't know what it's like until you've seen it in person.
Yep.
And so seeing it in person is going to make it an entirely different ballgame. You need to come out and watch it.
I think that's the misconception we get, is that just because we're in a chair, we're not athletes.
On top of being a full-time student, we also have our 6:30 a.m. practices to 8:30 every day, Monday through Friday. That's quite a bit. We also have small group once a week, so that's for an hour, usually in the afternoon sometime, where you come in, you do like some individual skill work. On top of that, we have lifting 3 times a week. On top of that, you got video sessions. Sometimes we'll have Saturday practices, 10, 12, 15-hour bus rides. It's a lot of time commitment, but like for somebody that enjoys it, it's really rewarding.
1, 2, who are we? FIB, who?
So I had an injury to my right foot, so I can't play stand-up sports anymore, and one of my teachers actually played wheelchair basketball for the Canadian women's team. They went to the Athens 2004 games, so she's like, hey, you should come give it a try, and I kind of went out fell in love with the sport. I thought it was so much fun being active again and playing sports. So from there, it just kind of happened. I am a member of the Canadian men's wheelchair basketball team. I've been a member for the past 3 seasons. I went to the 2016 Rio Paralympic Games.
I was born with spondyloptosis. I was missing a couple vertebrae, and there was a curvature in my back, almost like what scoliosis is. I was born premature, and I also had a tethered spinal cord. It was actually really hard for me to start because I wanted to play able-bodied basketball, but I knew I could be way better at wheelchair basketball than I could be at able-bodied basketball. So from there, I kind of everything kind of transferred over, passing, dribbling. Only difference is a chair, so you have to learn chair skills, and I wasn't too great with chair skills at first, but I got better, and that's kind of how it started.
I was born with spina bifida, but I played baseball, so I wasn't always confined to the chair. I used to be able to walk, but then my disability kind of caught up to me in the sense that like my legs were getting too weak to hold my upper body. So I played baseball, kindergarten through 6th grade, and was like really good at it and like loved the sport. And then a surgery failed on my left leg twice, so then that kind of took me out of remission. And I remember going to a therapy session, and Matthew Talbot, he's one of our managers here, him and his mom were at a PT session with my dad and I right there. Matthew was like, hey, you should try wheelchair basketball. I was like, no. This is when I still told I like wasn't gonna be able to walk. And I was like, no, I'm okay. And then this summer, my dad was like, you're gonna go to a practice. I went to a practice, and I'm here now. So I fell in love ever since. So
I received my injury in Colombia when I was 6 years old. I was shot on my back by a drunk person by accident in Christmas morning. I was diagnosed with a spinal cord injury with a complete injury on level T10, T11.
I always had the dream of playing in college, but for me that was a little harder because I have cerebral palsy, so if you guys come out the games, you'll realize that I have a little bit less function than the next guy on our team. So for me, I've always had to fight and kind of know the game in and out.
this was the first ever like wheelchair accessible campus. So this is the biggest and like most accessible out of every D1, D2, D3, whatever college you want to go to. This is gonna be the most accessible in the whole country.
That doesn't just stop with our wheelchair athletics program, even though wheelchair athletics is the main organization that is in the public eye.
You know, University of Illinois was the birthplace of wheelchair basketball in the United States, starting in 1948 under the lead of Dr. Tim Nugent. He came to the campus here, saw many of his war veteran buddies that had injuries, maybe were in chairs or lost limbs, had the GI Bill, but never really had access to the college lifestyle or access to classrooms and things because a lot of things weren't wheelchair accessible. So he took it upon himself to really push and making sure that these things were accessible. We love the stories of Dr. Nugent pushing at U of I to build ramps and make the rooms accessible or the buildings accessible. And he would go and build ramps on the building, and at that time the professors and people here on the campus just thought that the ramps were ugly and wanted to tear them down, and they would tear them down, and then the next night he would come back and build one again, and it would be back there again the next day. And he kept doing that until they just gave up, and eventually the campus became accessible. And those were really the first beginning steps of ADA compliance and allowing us to understand what needed to happen to make accessibility around the country and around the world.
A lot of the, because like this is one of the oldest campuses too, so a lot of classes didn't have ramps like this. He's the one who invented these like sidewalks going like this, because before you'd have to just hop the curb and just hope you make it over without falling. So this is Nugent Hall. This is one of the newer ones. This was built in, I want to say 2012, 2013. And this is going to be, again, the most accessible. So there's, I would say like the two most accessible is Nugent right here, and then Wasaja, which is next door. And then, so we also have, oh, okay, good. So this is like your standard like single dorm. This is really nice for a kid with a disability because like you don't have to worry about another person coming in with your chair, and like you have your own space, and where like if you have like different problems and you deal with yourself, you can just come here and not have to worry about a roommate. You can see in here, it's like really accessible. So you have heated like toilet, shower chair if you need it. I can stand, so I don't need it. But so like if bars in there, so like I hold on to the bars, so super accessible.
With wheelchair basketball, we have a classification system, and that classification system gives players a point value based on their functional level. So it goes from 1.0 to 4.5, counting up by 0.5s.
You're only allowed to play 14 points on the floor. So you can't play 5, 4, 5s, you'd be way over points. So those 3s, 2s, and 1s become very valuable.
Me being a 4.5, I have full core and I can move in all planes, so I can lean forward, I can lean to the side. Because my disability only affects like my one leg, it doesn't really come into play in a wheelchair basketball setting.
So you get a guy that somebody that may not know the sport sees as a class 1 that may have no kind of balance and kind of swings around in their chair, and they might struggle to put a shot up outside the key. They're thinking, well, they might not be a big basketball player. But that guy could be one of the most valuable players on your basketball team, because they're the ones that are able to set picks and seals. They're playing solid defense. They're great communicators and talking about switching. They could be a really impact player.
I'm a 1-0, so generally I play with a bunch of 4s, a couple of 3s, and maybe a 2. And that's a good lineup for us.
The role is mostly to facilitate those shots for them, so I would try to block the defenders from jumping on them. I'll try to move the defense around so they have like a lot of space.
It's really inclusive that way for injuries. There are some players that, even though they might be a 1-5, like they are more valuable than a 4-5 just because they can do so many things.
Dribbling wheelchair basketball, there are a couple big differences. The first is that there's no carry and double dribble. So you can pick up the ball, put your hand under it, put 2 hands on it, especially because there's no lateral movement. It makes it very difficult for someone to just keep a dribble the entire time. Then the next thing is you get 2 pushes for every dribble, so you can do 2 pushes just like that, and now you have the dribble, and a turn counts as a push. So every time you touch your wheel, that's a push. If he's coming up to a defender, he might want to bounce stop to prevent the charge, or bounce spin to turn away from me. So where I'm at here is axle to caster. My axle is lined up with his caster, and this would be legal guarding position. So if Kyle came into me with speed, that would be a charge. If I was defense, we came in foot plate to foot plate, that's a foul on me. I can't come into him. Or if I was staying stationary and he came into me, that's an offensive foul. On offense, you're only allowed to be in the key for 3 seconds. He has 3 seconds in the key to catch and shoot. Once he's in the shooting position, the time stops until he brings it back down. That's 3 seconds, or until he shoots. Once it hits the rim, it resets.
And we're back here at the Arc at the beginning of the second half. Illinois Fighting Illini hold a 9-point lead over the Missouri Tigers.
But very important with both the great coaching that Mizzou has. Obviously considered one of the greatest of all time coaches, multiple gold medal winner.
Both the men and women's side.
And men and women's side. The adjustments that they're going to make are definitely going to present some problems for the Illini. So they need to come out strong and get it figured out as quick as possible.
One thing to note is Rodriguez, number 42 of the Tigers, has 3 fouls. So something to watch. And then on the Illini side, Thomas Duffy has 2 and Warmchuk has 2 in the back.
Right, and coming on from on Mizzou's bench is a freshman. I forget his name, but from Chicago area, and so he's back here in his hometown, and he may get a chance to see the court for a little bit here in this game.
Yeah, he saw 44 seconds there. It's Peyton. I don't know his first name. The last name is Peyton.
Javon, I think.
Yeah. Illini started the ball here in the second half. Hotchkiss passes it over to Miles Hill. We're in a 2-man game.
And
there's a foul underneath.
And there again, Miles knocked that down, and he's a really good shooter from in there.
That's the 4th foul on number 42, Rodriguez. Less than 20 seconds in the second half.
It had to be.
And it's a layup for Thomas Duffy. They're looking for a stop so that he doesn't pick up his 5th.
Yep, and Javon's going to get ready to check in.
And off from
Lycan can't be happy with that situation. And I'm sure it was stressed that needed to not happen.
Oh, good hit from Jim Prater.
So what do you think on the Illini side? Do you think they were putting the ball wherever he was at on purpose to try to draw that foul?
No, I honestly think that was a really light foul for the fourth foul.
Yeah.
That's a tough break for Missouri.
Right.
As they find him in the middle, and there's going to be a foul, I think.
On the floor.
On the floor, and that's going to be on Gibbs, number 11. I believe that's his first foul. Team first. And Eric is out of the game, and as we said, it's Peyton. Rodriguez has 4 fouls, so he's going to be sitting for quite a long time here, I assume.
And Javon, I believe, was another freshman during COVID, so this will be his second year. So he's had a lot of time to develop as a player under Lycan. I don't think he's going to be anybody to take lightly.
Colin Higgins hits that free throw jumper, cutting the lead to 11. Thomas W. working one side. On the other side, it's McNamara and Hotchkiss off the backboard, can't get it to fall. Rebounded by number 34, Payne. Higgins working with her mom. Finds Lee in the middle, can't get it to fall, rebounded by Hotchkiss.
Rare miss, and you may be seeing Mizzou. This is their second game of the day. You may see some fatigue starting to set in with the small bench.
I mean, and only their 4th game of the season.
Right.
And
got the mismatch. Gets the rebound.
Throws it out of bounds. I don't know why he didn't put that shot back.
It was looking to reset and refinish, but nobody there.
Higgins telling his teammates which direction to go. He works the middle, passes it over to Lee. Trying to get a pick from Lee. Back all the way over to Higgins. Higgins passes it in. What a pass. Higgins to finish, rebounded by McNamara. As Illinois is looking to put some subs in on the next dead ball. Hotchkiss looking for a cross pick from Hill. Gonna get it. Gonna get a second one from Hill as he cuts down the middle. Thomas Duffy with the shot, and it's in. Thomas Duffy been the hot hand all game.
He's feeling good. He's looking happy. So what do you think? What do you think you're seeing on the Illini defense so far this game?
I mean, I'm real selling out on Colin Higgins, right?
Sure.
They don't want him to get the ball, and they've got 2 guys on them, and it's led to some opportunities for that.
Right.
Illinois decided that they're going to live with it.
Yep.
As Coda hits that shot, cutting it back to 11 again.
And he's had a good game on the inside. Coda Sage.
Yeah. Hill over to Duffy. Duffy finds Tim Braver. What a good
and a really interesting play there with a kind of a pick and roll happening and also a break. When the help left, Gabe comes in.
It was a really slow developing play, but that added patience is something that Thomas didn't come in having.
Yeah.
Over his time at Illinois is really increased his repertoire.
Right.
Oh, Lee hits the shot once again for Missouri. Really seesawing here between 11 and 13-point lead, which I think the Illini will be fine with at the end of the day if it stays like this.
Yes.
Hill in the middle, over to Duffy. Duffy's going to take the shot, and it's lost for him because of course it does.
Great shooting today by Thomas Duffy, and that's always a good harbinger for the Illini.
Coda has the ball in the middle, passes it to Higgins, gets a cross pick. Higgins so good with ball handling. And there's a lead. They're going to slow it down. go. The line not going to set up their offense. Hotchkiss and Braber on one side, Hill in the middle. Thomas Duffy working with McNamara on the other. They're going to take that elbow jumper and hit it. No backboard this time.
And again, that ball swings really had the Mizzou moving around, and it created that opportunity.
Somebody in the stands that we're watching that we noticed at halftime is Jake Williams, Paralympian, working at a local Chicago group now, LWSRA, Lincoln Way.
I mean, what an amazing thing. I was telling my family earlier, I pointed him out. I said, you know, you're looking at one of the best players in the world right now, sitting here. For us, that's like a Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen watching your game.
Yeah, as Illinois has an unforced turnover there, it's going to lead to an easy layup and look for them, cutting it.
And you see the two Canadians working really well together. They have a lot of trust, and it's a pretty powerful duo.
Hotchkiss from three, going to drain it. Noah Hotchkiss said, I'll take this one.
Yeah, and it's important for Illini to take those opportunities when they, if you miss it, so what? But if you make it, you got to take it.
As it's another turnover for Missouri, miscommunication there between Higgins and Lee means that New is in for the Illini. McNamara, Hill, and Duffy out for Kyle Jankowski, a graduate from Wausau, New York. Sean Sloan's back in the game, and Chuck is also back in the game.
And this isn't a lineup we've seen a lot of yet this season, and it's going to be good to see. You got adding a little bit of height and some great inside shooting from Kyle.
Good cut there from Jim Braber. It's going to lead to a layup that scores.
And good patience on taking that layup. Kind of getting himself composed and feeling good taking the late shot.
One of the things Illinois has done really well is play from the middle, whether it be cut or taking the jump shot. When they lead from the middle, we've made Missouri pay time and time again. 34 gets the first shot. Oh!
It didn't seem to, I didn't see any contact from here, but we can't see as well as they can.
That's more Chuck's third. The referee up top called it a foul. The referee underneath called it a tip.
Okay.
That's why I was confused about the whistle, because I saw the tip call.
Right, okay. And so it probably was chair contact in the back rather than the skin contact.
First two free throws for Missouri this half. Banks the first one in. Good thing it's Saturday and the bank is still open.
It's still open.
Seven shots up and off. Rebounded by Higgins. Partially blocked it, I think, by Jim.
Yeah, this guy kind of tried to get it up real fast and didn't get,
steal there from Higgins and a foul from Hotchkiss to make sure they didn't get a fast break. Good foul there from Hotchkiss.
Okay, we'll take it. How many is that for Noah?
I think it's 2 or 3. I don't think he's in any serious foul trouble with as much time as we have on the game.
Right.
Communication about where that needs to happen at between refs. These are refs that work together quite often.
Right.
So, Coda is going to get a layup. It's off, rebounded by Jim Braber. Lucky that the late didn't call. The Illini lead by 13. Finds Jankowski inside, and he scores.
Kyle coming right off the bench and showing him how it's done.
Kyle, one of 3 fifth-years on this team.
Right. Working on his master's, is that right?
Master's in public health and policy.
Yep. Smart, very smart kid.
One of the smartest I've ever been around.
Right.
That shot goes Aaron and rebounded by Jim Braber again.
I always told Kyle, you're smarter than you sound.
Yeah. Those 3 fifth-years being Kyle Jankowski, Noah Hotchkiss, and Thomas Duffy. Pass in the middle to Dembraber. Good. Tough shot there from Kyle.
Absolutely. A little bit too far underneath the basket, and it's just an incredibly hard shot.
Tip there from Morinchuk, and they're going to get a steal out of it. Pushing the pace. They had numbers.
Oh, and he's going to just fly, and a little too much speed coming in, but
it's not his favorite side, but it's one that he usually makes anyway.
Yeah.
Nice throwing out on Higgins. Holy, hits that shot again.
You just when that guy gets a second to take a shot, it's usually going in.
Hotchkiss working with McNamara, going to get a pick. Trying to get a pick at least. Going to get it now. Pass in the middle. Kyle Jankowski's going to take an outside shot. Backboard doesn't fall for him. Rebounded by Higgins. Do you think the Illini are playing better this game than they did in Auburn?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think their shooting percentage at Auburn rarely got into the mid-30s. And so those are important for them to have readjusted. Happens to players, happens to teams, and you don't want to peak too early either.
A pass from Hotchkiss has it from a layup from Morinchuk.
Touchdown pass there.
And it's a timeout for Missouri. He's going to get a 30-second timeout, so we'll be right back after this break.
The pick and roll is one of the main ways that you'll see scoring happen in wheelchair basketball. There's a couple different things to think about when we're looking at the pick and roll. One, a lot of times we'll use the pick and roll and you'll see teams get a wide open layup off of it because you've picked, a defender is out, and there's a free lane to the basket where you can roll. Sometimes what you'll also see off of a pick and roll is we've created a mismatch. So you'll have someone offensively who's a bit taller or a bit faster get a little bit closer to the basket in a mismatch situation that they can take advantage of. And I think one of the other things that you'll see off of a pick and roll is that it will cause some kind of defensive rotation so that you're moving defenders around in order to get one of your other teammates on the other side of the court open. So when you look at a pick and roll, a lot of times it's not just what you generate on one side of the court, but it's what it's opening up on the other side of the court.
And we're back here at the Arc. Illinois leads 57-38, punching halfway through the second half. Missouri has the ball. Oh, and that's going to be a hold on Sean Sloan there. Tough matchup for the sophomore, but probably a good foul. Prevented a layup.
Yeah. With 10 minutes left, it's not a unbreachable gap here.
No, not at all.
With some of their shooters.
Reed scores the layup, his first points of this game.
Alex Rodriguez looking to check back in.
And the lead is 17 currently for the Illini, so a pretty big deficit.
Yeah.
And Morinchuk's going to try to make it more, and he does. Good pass in from Hotchkiss.
Yep, and a very off-balance shot, and he made it. So
one of the things that Missouri misses without Rodriguez is the aggressiveness, right?
Yeah.
The height difference not that big between him and the person he subs for, but that aggressiveness is just not.
Aggressiveness and experience.
Yeah. Good shot there from the outside.
I'm looking forward to getting to watch him play over the next couple of years, and he's going to get very good.
Yeah. Hotchkiss looking for a cross pick. Now working with Morinchuk. Morinchuk's going to cut underneath with a mismatch. They're not going to find it. Pass to Hotchkiss again. Over top. Gonna fade. Over to Gabe. Gabe can take the shot and drains it. A deep two from Dembraber.
Yep. You know, they didn't really even work that into an open shot, but he knocked it down anyways.
And usually that's a bad shot, you know that one, right? 2 point, but hey, 2 points is better than 0.
Yeah, absolutely.
Higgins passes back to Coda. Coda shots up and off rebounded by Jim Braver in the Illini. And Gabe calls a 30-second timeout. I think we're going to stay in this one because it's only a 30-second timeout. Just felt the pressure was too much there.
Yeah.
So back to what we were talking about. You know, Auburn was a rough tournament for the Illini.
Absolutely.
1-3, losing to Alabama, who they'd already beat, and then Whitewater, who they'd already beat handedly, and almost came back to beat, right? And
yeah.
They shouldn't have had to.
Well, and all of the games were close, except for the last Alabama game. I think they won by 7 or 8.
I think it was 14 at the end.
Oh, 14.
I think it was 14.
Yeah, so that was. But the other games were close.
The other 2 losses were a combined 7 points.
Yeah, and so, but they were flat. You know, there's just no getting around it. And as we commented on there, you know, Duffy seemed to be real shy to pull the trigger, and you can see the difference right now when he's shooting. When that offside's strong, it allows the power side to do what they can do. The help can't come as easily when Duffy's shooting like that.
And you know, we talked about this in one of the breaks, but this really felt like a get-right tournament. In previous years, you know, we've kind of hit rock bottom at this tournament. You know, I haven't put in our best performances for whatever reason, but we don't, as you said, don't have the opportunity to do that this go-around with rankings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So far, so good, though, as Illinois leads by 19. As Hotchkiss' shot is off, Rodriguez with the rebound. And there's going to be an offensive foul call.
What's going on there?
I think there was an inadvertent. Just kidding. There was a foul on number 5, Kyle Jankowski. First. They called it on the wrong 5 at first, so Missouri was confused about what the call was.
Okay. Yeah. 5 on 5.
Yep. So Missouri will keep the ball. There. Good 1-on-1 battle here between Warren, Chuck, and Higgins. And the Illini teammates are having it up on the bench there. That's a huge one-on-one matchup there between those 2 guys who know each other really well.
There's so much combined speed there.
Yeah. That's a fun matchup one-on-one.
Absolutely.
One shot, locking him down. And McReed gets it to not fall, rebounded by Sean Sloan. Watch this up the left side. Morinchuk now in control. Slow setting up, trying to get across it there. It's going to be a 3-pointer, and it's off. Good look there from Jim Braber.
Just shy. Again, it's important to take those shots.
Another thing that we haven't talked about Missouri is the fact that they don't have 10 players, so their only 5-on-5 experience is in games, and they didn't play in the fall semester. So this is not the team that I think we're going to see at the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it definitely won't be the team we see at the end of the season. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. And
Zach Steger, hopefully he'll be back.
And he was playing a pretty major role in their home tournament 2 weeks ago.
As Jankowski holds the follow through and splashes it home.
Great shooter from right there along the key.
Illinois exceptionally good at the baseline jumper. As Sean Sloan's going to pick up his second foul. It's a good foul.
Yep.
As Higgins cut on him.
Yep. And a little lack of communication there on defense, allowing your primary objective is to not allow that to happen.
Illinois leads by 21, 6:22 to go in this game. Based off of point differential, you would think that the Whitewater game tonight is going to be really good.
Absolutely, and you know, earlier in the season, Willie had a real big game. That it was a blowout, but Willie had a real big game. I think 33 points.
Yeah, 5 for 10 from 3.
And so you can't depend on that. And so it's going to be really important for the Illini to.
Illini, the last time they played as a touchdown in Alabama, down 13 with 2.5 minutes to go, ultimately fall by 4.
Yeah.
Have a chance to win too. They have to foul at the end, so they cut it to like 3.
Yeah, that's right. And again, Colin gets the inside, so you know this is important. It's important that they don't allow that to happen, and especially against Whitewater with their bigs, that they're communicating and preventing those bigs from just rolling into the paint, regardless of the score. It's always important to be playing at your best.
Yeah. As we come down to the end, I want to point out that the next 2 games, it's going to be senior night here tonight, 5:30 and 7 at the Arc. Both teams will be playing Wisconsin and Whitewater. So if you're in the Champaign area, come out and support the guys. If not, the live stream will have the game and all of the senior night festivities.
We're hoping to see the marching band, but you know it's hard to know. Are they going to be here?
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. You know, with COVID, you know, I wasn't sure how they were going to do that, but it's such a great experience.
It's such a great environment to play in. So that's a game that you're going to want to watch. So women play at 5:30, men at 7, I believe.
Central Standard Time.
Central Standard Time, only on YouTube. As there's a whole squadron change coming here for the Illini. As good hands there from Warren Chuck. And a prayer answered by Colin Higgins' hands there. I thought for sure this was a turnover. The 3 does not fall for Higgins though.
Rolling, a little off balance.
I think the guys on the court don't want a dead ball here so they can stay in the game.
Right. They got more points to put up.
67-44, 4:12 left in this game.
Whoa. That was a close one.
Pass into Higgins. Picked up away by Hotchkiss. Dakota leaves it short. Rebounded by Jim Braber. Warren Chuck working the right side with Sean Sloan. Jankowski with Hotchkiss on the left side. Jim Braber in the middle. Warren Chuck for 3. It looks good. It's a little long.
Right on line. Just a little too much.
It looks good.
Yep. And again, incredible chair skills. Colin Higgins.
And splash.
You know, there's times where it seems like he temporarily shrinks for a moment to get through some spots.
I mean, he fits through some holes that I would never try to fit through.
Absolutely.
As Hotchkiss tries for 3, it's going to be rebounded by Sloan.
And again, when you're up like that, this is a especially good time to do that.
Jim Braber from 3.
This is the time you really take those. You get comfortable taking them.
Yeah.
It's not huge consequences if you miss. Just get the feel for it. Build your.
With a 21-point lead, you can feel confident taking that shot. And you'll be ready for games where you need that shot.
Yep, absolutely.
Higgins down the middle, passes it to Lee. Lee puts it up and in. That combination between Lee and Colin is just...
It's pretty intense.
And there's going to be subs. The sub and Colin Higgins is coming out for the Tigers, and is number 34, Peyton. Out for the Illini is Jankowski, Sloan, Morin, Chuck, and Hotchkiss. In is McNamara, Duffy.
Again, not a lineup we've seen a lot of. And
well, in the first action today for the freshman we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
Stevens, a good shooter.
Yep.
Oh, Thomas tried to force one into a hole that didn't exist, and it's stolen by.
Really turning the needle on that one.
That hole was not there.
Nope.
As Miles is dumped.
Good defense there by J-Mac.
Tips it to DeBraber off the Missouri miss. Duffy takes it baseline, passes the middle to DeBraber, who's open, passes it inside. What an unselfish play to McNamara, who misses 2 attempts, and it's rebounded by Rodriguez.
J-Mac been struggling a little bit today. A very important piece of the Illini's preferred offense, and so work it out.
As Rodriguez hits a jumper over the freshman. 50-70, Illinois now has a 20-point lead.
And there he is again. Dishes it back out.
I think Illinois is, well, I was going to say.
Fading away, Martrell Stevens from deep.
It looked like Illinois was fine, trying to pass the ball around a little bit, maintaining a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
As we're under a minute to go.
Yeah. A lot of things that you can be doing, even if you're up 20 points right now. Working that clock, figuring out, not fouling.
2 great performances in the tournament by the men and the women.
Yep.
Once again, the next game we're at 5:30 and 7 Central Time. So tune in for that, or get to the Arc if you are here in Champaign.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 50-70. This will be Illinois' last possession in all likelihood. 23 seconds remaining, 19 on the shot clock. Oh, tried to pass it into Trell.
J-Mac coming up fast.
Scoop, and that's going to be the game. 3, 2, 1, and that's the game. The final score: Illinois 70, Missouri 52. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll join us again at 5:30 and 7 tonight for Kane Walters and Jason Hopkins. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Let's see. Stop and complete. Stop and complete. Stop and complete again. Stop and complete. And then, yep. Okay.